Hey friends, so guilt is a strange emotion sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes it will make people be over apologetic or be constantly seeking reassurance that everything is okay or that you still like them. Sometimes it will prompt them to suddenly do nice things for you or bring you gifts or whatever. And then sometimes it will do the direct opposite. The guilty person will distance themselves from you or avoid you because they know they did something that they shouldn't have, that hurt you, even if you yourself are not aware of it yet. Sometimes they will start friction between you on the way out, too. All of this usually seems like it's coming out of nowhere, except it's not. It's coming from that person sitting with their own internal discomfort about what they did. Even if you aren't yet aware of it, they are. And that is something that they have to figure out. They have to figure out what to do with the guilt that comes with that. And then, many times, they begin to think that every move that you make is all about them. Your life revolves around that betrayal. Everything that you say or do is to make them mad or to get back at them in some way. Every picture you take and post somewhere is so that they will see it. Every glow up that you have is so you can try to make them jealous. Every improvement that you make, maybe as part of your own healing process, must be so that they will take notice and want you back or whatever. The funny part of that is that 9 times out of 10, you aren't doing things to make them mad or get their attention at all. You may not even be thinking about them in the slightest, but their guilt might run pretty deep, so they see only what they want to see. No matter what your actual motives are for doing what you do, their guilt is going to try to seek a reason to feel less of it, because their inner monologue may sound like this. Okay, so I hurt this person, but now look what they are doing. They are making such a big deal. They're being so dramatic. Those things they're saying and doing must be some daggers they're trying to throw at me, right? And with this just kind of justification, they turn themselves into some kind of victim too. And that feels better to them than feeling like they're a terrible person. That's why sometimes people get mad at you for something they did to you, friends. Because they're tired of feeling that guilt and shame and whatever other negative emotion they're feeling over what has happened. And I mean, I guess you can't blame them. Nobody wants to sit around constantly thinking about their own bad behavior or how they hurt someone that loves them. I get it. But here's the thing. If they didn't want to feel that guilt, then they shouldn't have done what they did. Nobody destroys another human being emotionally without fully knowing what they're doing. So if they don't want people to speak poorly about who they are, then all they have to do is act better. If they are about to do something that they know is bad, that's going to hurt someone that they are in close relationship with, then maybe they should think about that a little longer. And they should think about what the hell they're doing, period, before they do it. Basically, they should go fix themselves so they stop cutting others with the shards of their own brokenness. Because hurt people is a popular saying, but it's nothing more than a BS excuse for bad behavior. Sorry, not sorry. And if that guilty person happens to see or hear or read something that reminds them of what they did, or that they hurt you, or that they aren't in your life anymore because of something that they did, because of their own actions, then it is what it is. Guilty people are always going to think everything is about them anyway, no matter what you say or do. So if the shoe fits, then they should put that shiz on and wear it. And truthfully, maybe that message that is getting under their skin so much, maybe it's about them, maybe it isn't. That doesn't really matter. What does matter is that clearly something in the universe thought they needed to hear that message and perhaps really listen to what it is trying to say. That's how life lessons work sometimes, isn't it? We often don't like the messenger or how it comes about into our orbit, but it doesn't mean that it's not a valid message. Here's something that I want to make super clear. Whatever guilt someone else is feeling over their own actions is not your responsibility. It's theirs. They are the ones who need to own it. It won't stop some people from trying to push some of it on you anyway, but you don't have to accept that. You never have to accept anything that you are not okay with, period. One way that people will try to lighten the burden of that guilt that they're feeling is to ask you to help them to hide from their own guilty conscience. They want you to stay quiet about what they did and not speak about it to others so that they don't look bad. They want you to pretend it didn't happen so that their own emotional load is lighter. They want you to get over it or stop being hurt or sad because it makes them uncomfortable to see what they did to you. Their guilty conscience just won't stop reminding them that they were utterly awful to someone who most certainly didn't deserve it. Quite often, they get mad, not at themselves, which is where the blame actually should be, but at you when you tell the truth about them to others, because how dare you betray their trust and not make excuses for them instead? Look, all of this just begs the question, what are they actually mad about? What you said? Or are they mad because it's the truth? Because you see, some people really, really do not like the truth, especially when it makes them look bad, when it doesn't match the image that they have been carefully creating for themselves. That is the only reason that people tend to get mad or defensive about anything, by the way, when they know they are in the wrong. But the thing is that the truth is always the truth, even when you don't like it. You can deny it, or you can make up a counter story to defend yourself, or refuse to face it or run from it. It doesn't stop it from being the truth. And you cannot get mad at people for telling the truth, even if that truth is not complimentary to you. When you betray someone's trust, you give up the expectation of them keeping your secrets for you. You give up them making excuses for you or protecting you. You give up them speaking nicely about you at all. And if they keep doing that, by the way, you're a big dummy for fumbling somebody like that, because they are rare these days. People who hurt you also do not get to give you any kind of directive on how you are going to heal from whatever they did. They don't get a say in how you tell your story, and they don't get to be angry when you choose to disconnect from them and write them out of your story. If we're being completely honest here, let's face it, there will be lots of people who, when they hurt you in some way, will be truly sorry and remorseful. And you will know, not with their words, but with their actions. They will apologize, sure, but more importantly, they will not repeat the behavior or whatever it was that hurt you. And for every person who is like this, who learns from their mistakes, you have plenty of jackwagons who are actually not sorry that they hurt you. They are only sorry that they have lost some access to you or what you offer, or some goodwill or whatever leverage they had with you. That's why trying to talk to them sometimes about what hurt you is a waste of time. Sending that paragraph about how you feel is too. They already know what they did, and they probably know how you feel. They just don't care. And that is a very hard pill to swallow, friends. Ask me how I know. But you have to swallow it at some point, or you're not going to get better. Acceptance is such a fundamental part of moving on that sometimes it's the biggest part also that people don't want to do because it's difficult. And I get it. How painful is it to find out that somebody who you thought you knew isn't at all who you thought they were? That you thought you meant a lot more to somebody than you actually did. That doesn't even feel good to say, never mind to feel. But sometimes those things are just the truth. So if someone is mad at you for something they did, or they are getting defensive and angry with you for speaking your truth, or they're out here sending spies or whatever to see what you're up to so they can find reasons to make you a bad person instead of them, there's something that you need to know. Actually, there are two things. One is that all of this, it is not a you problem. It is a them problem. They did what they did or said what they said. It's up to them to own it because you as sure as hell don't need to. And two, accept that you may never understand why any of that happened and that you will not get closure from that person either. You can drive yourself crazy, wondering where you went wrong or what more you could have done, but the answer is nowhere and nothing. If you know in your heart of hearts that you did right by this person and they still turned out to be a jerk anyway, you can hold your head high and keep moving forward. If they're mad, let them be. If they walk away, let them do it. If they move on to someone else, whether it be in a romantic relationship or otherwise, wish them an au revoir and bon voyage. Remember what they say. One person's trash is another person's still trash because that trash ain't changing, sis or bro. We're going to talk more about closure in an upcoming video, but to close this one out, if you think about people doing you dirty like you do the criminal justice system, who has to pay the price for doing the crime? Who goes to court for it? Who pays the fines and restitution or whatever else the court mandates? The perpetrator or the victim? The perpetrator, duh. They are the ones who need to atone for what they did. And that is going to make them mad too. It makes most people mad when they have to be accountable or do the time for the crime, whatever it may be. The victim doesn't have to do anything but pick up their pieces and go on with their life. That's what you should focus on too. Nobody is going to do the perpetrator's work for them. Nobody's going to do yours either, though. So it's up to you to take what you have learned and move on in a healthy manner. Sometimes that means without that person. Most of the time it does. And that's not always easy, but look, the only person that you owe your 100% loyalty to is you. And being loyal to yourself means making your well-being and your needs your priority. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back next week with another priority message. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.